Alright, let's get on with this. Let's see if I can fix this damn thing that's been here for way too long in my workshop. Way too long. Way too long to the point where I'm starting to get silly with it. And yeah, I'd like to get this back to the original owner. I got the first one back months ago, and this one is just, I just can't get it fixed. I don't know, maybe I'm stupid. Maybe it's just, this one's just definitely giving me a kicking. Like, I've got my 20 volts, but I've only got 40 milliamp, and the only thing I've got is that it quit charging and will not power on. I'm pretty sure I've changed the ISL on this. I've done, yeah, basically everything I can normally think of. And I've got nothing. So this is an 820928. Yeah, I don't know. Has anyone out there had the 40 milliamp, 20 volt situation? Not sure what to think. Unfortunately, I do not have any of these other boards around. So I can't even do like an SMC swap or anything. Hey, Bunty, welcome. And I've just got no idea. So let's just try to disconnect the keyboard, trackpad, mouse. Touch bar. Let's see what we get with that. 40 milliamp. Yeah, it could actually even be a short on one of the main rails. Oh, that's not good. Don't do that. Okay, with everything disconnected, it's still the same. 50, 48, 50 milliamp. Quick charge version 2.0. So the CD3215s are doing their job. No troubles there. Hey Barry, Jim, DJ. I don't know. Like I said, I'm genuinely just don't know what to think about this one. I suppose I'll go back through all the rails again and see if one of them pops up as a dud. Sometimes you can miss them. Hey Jim, welcome. When I initially got it, I don't believe there was 20 volts. I only had 5 volts. And so I got up to 20 and I thought, yay! And then nothing. Yeah. It's got nothing to do with the peripherals attached to it. The board on its own does exactly the same thing. So with that, I suppose I may as well just take it out. Easier for me to handle. ISL, I do believe I've swapped it, but I'll have another look. Hey, Ratmold. Yeah, judging by the flux all around here, I've definitely swapped that ISL. So I'm just going to have a look at the job management queue, see if it goes back that far to 192. That's a long time ago now. Renovations are sort of like all over the place. It's always a pain when you don't have the money to just go outright and get everything done at once. Yeah, so the ISL has definitely been changed. Looks like I have been hunting shorts. I'm just giving another look over. You never know. Okay, so I've had issues up here as well. Okay, this is where I do recall there was some corrosion, and that was inhibiting it, getting it to 20, and I got it to 20, and that was the end. Oh man, I really need to throw this in the ultrasonic again. But yeah, 40, it's sort of like 50 milliamp really. 50 milliamp just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. What is that, I would say T2 under normal circumstances, but this is not a T2 enabled board as far as I recall. Where are the geniuses when I need them? Where's Paul S? Oh dear God. No, I think I actually might need to stick this in the ultrasonic before I get much further down on it. Hey, Luke Davis, welcome back. Well, Kitty's getting used to the ultrasonic is nice, but it doesn't help me get used to it. I, for one, cannot handle it. I do believe I've replaced with a couple of ISLs and the behavior didn't change. I'm pretty sure that's my second one that I put on there. And I was hunting around here a fair bit. I think that was like a temperature sensor problem. I have to remember why I've been digging around on that area. Barry, 20 volts, 50 milliamp, let's call it. Even Team W. And the protocol's all correct and everything like that. Hey Terry Taylor. Probably on the SMC line. Yeah, unfortunately it's a bit of a pain that I don't have another one of these boards, so I can't exactly replace the SMC on this one. I don't even know if I can do any test comparison. Like, sometimes you can take a SMC from another board that's similar, plug it in and see if you get a change of behavior. I'm not sure I've even got one. That's the big problem with these newer boards, is even though these are now a couple of years old, it's still tricky getting your hands on some decent boards. What have I got? I've got a 239. That's about the closest I've got to it. Even in miles. And I don't know if a 239 has any chance. I've got an SMC for one of those. I don't know if it's got any chance of working on a 928. They are the same chip as far as I can tell. Paul, it's a customer's machine, but it's a very long-term one. They sent me a couple and I've already sent one back that was fixed, but this one I've never been able to get to fix. The trouble with the problem area is that it's, all covered in flux. And you're sort of wondering, why does Paul do this? Why does he leave the boards covered in flux? Well, what happens is that you're trying to fix it, you're doing a bunch of things, and then you just sort of go, well, I'm just going to put that aside and check something else, and then you forget to put it through the ultrasonic cleaner. And so you end up with this sort of scenario where you have a whole bunch of ugly flux caked up on the board, and it genuinely looks hideous. Now normally, Auto, I am actually in full agreement with you, and that is what I do. I stick to the areas that are known, like have the corrosion or whatever, and I generally don't like to get out of those, because I very rarely find the problem exists beyond the range of the corrosion. But I'm getting to the point where I'm getting desperate with this. Wow, all these bloomin' fibers building up. I've really got to rip the carpet out of this room. The carpet is just a nightmare. Hey, Nelson. These are the boards that just suck up your time and also your enthusiasm. Like you start out and you sort of think, oh, I'm going to be able to get this, I feel fresh, I'm going to tackle this, I'm going to see what the fault is this time. And fast forward 4 hours and you're basically no better off, but you've used up all your enthusiasm and now you're actually worse off. I'm just going to put the connector onto the other side, see if there's any difference. But yeah, Auto, I do agree with your principle there. I do agree that 99.9% of the time, the fault is definitely going to be where you see the corrosion. Rarely do you get the secondary knock-on effect. And in some ways, I kind of do wonder whether in terms of a business policy, that's not a bad idea, as in, if you can't fix the fault with repairing what is in the damaged area, then maybe just write it off and say, look, I can't fix this, rather than going down the rabbit hole. Hey, ITC. This is the gym one. Same thing on the other side. 20 volts, 48 milliamps. Protocol is correct. Yeah, I'm not sure what to think. Hey, Gibbo. Yeah, it's a distinguishing factor, but it's also an insanity factor. I think there's a very fine line between it being distinguishing and sending you broke and making you perform poorly in terms of general business. It's a very fine line, and I think I exist on the wrong side of it. It doesn't help that a lot of us get into this career because we have this addiction for the challenges. Tony thinks a dead CPU. Well, Tony, let's have a measure of the resistance, shall we? Let's pick ourselves a couple of... .25 3 they're not unreasonable values. 4.18. So if it is a dead CPU, it's not sort of a classic short CPU. Tony, are you just sort of shooting out dead CPU as a random thing, or are you more serious? It can be a little difficult to tell on this channel whether people are being serious or whether they're having a laugh. Certainly we've got no... We certainly don't have any CPU activity, which is, I suppose, to be expected. Hey Pedro. Well, Miles, it stopped charging and then died, so maybe something kind of knocked it out. Ah, right, Tony's just... God damn you, Tony. This is what I gotta check with you folk. You're a little bit too quick to spit out any old thing. Okay, so we've got 12.6 for PP Bus. Hey, Real Nico. Hey, Jason. What's the... You've got a 1707s I'm happy for. 16 inch is going to be hell. But hey, bring it. I guess one of us is in a slightly better position than the other in terms of move. But you're right. The moves are a real killer, aren't they? Hey, Yummy Steak. Okay, HS CPU's okay. HS GPU is okay. I might go into quad view for this. Omo, you're right, it is better to check for a dead CPU, but the trouble is there's not always a clear indication of what a dead CPU is. The only story I've got is the system quit charging and now will not power on. When I received it, it was only at 5 volts, etc. 5 volts, 110 milliamp or something like that. I've now got it up to 20 volts, but 50 milliamp only. And that's pretty much it. See, PB bus, what's this other, maybe? $12.63. Interesting, they do list these as 13 volt rails, but I think I got an itchy nose instead. Yeah. $12.63. Hey Jessica, welcome. No, they don't have... I was hoping it was T2, but I don't believe these are T2. Like I said, I was hoping. Trackpad, it's all good. Oh, you got a... Jason, you got a Celeron NUC? Which model Celeron you got? Do you at least have something like a J4005? At least they're tolerable. I do like the Nux, but they can get a little bit sluggish. .41. That's interesting. The 3v3 line is actually running a little high. 3.41 doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a little bit higher than it should be. .35, 3.33, yeah, maybe 3.36. That'd be about as high as I would expect it, but 341 is actually a little bit high. Okay, so where does that come from? Who generates it? Because 3 point... Yeah, when you get to that point, it can cause other voltages to be relatively measured lower or differently. CPU is running Pi. And that's usually, what is that, Yusuf? Well, I want to see, Barry, I want to see where this 3v3 G3 hot's generated. This is stuff I should just know off the top of my head, so it's embarrassing for me that I don't. Wait, what was that? Alright, U6903. Okay, and that is the area I was digging around before. I just noticed it's, we've lost power here. Yeah, this is the area I was digging around here before because that voltage is a little high. And this is the area that's a problem. And this is our chip here. Now, I'm 99% sure I have replaced that. Because I do know that I've had other boards where I'm running at 3.4 and it causes a great deal of knock-on effects and bad behaviors. I'm just going to wash down that area a bit. Hey, Ismaila. I've already watched the Monaco Formula E. It was actually quite a good race, the Formula E on Monaco. I would argue it was better than what the Formula One's going to be. Some people would hate me for saying that, but the Formula E at least had lots of passing and right down to the last minute type stuff. Ach, nee man. With infrared, not likely, no. Yeah, with Formula One, it's more a case of, well, if you qualify and pole, then you're probably going to win. I mean, I know occasionally that doesn't turn out to be the case, but most times it does. Hey, where's my voltage gone? Hello, what's going on here? Yeah, Andre, that's right. 192 is quite some time ago. Okay, something curious. We have lost 20 volts. Maybe it's just that port I used. No, we've lost 20 volts. Curious. In some ways, I'm kind of happy about that. Yeah, I lost it after the heat, which again was around that 342, which is on the other side of the SMC too. And the ISL. So yeah, we're heating up here, and that affects the SMC area. Yep, definitely lost our 20 volts. We're now just at 5 volts, 200 milliamp. And the protocol is the Apple half amp. As in just, your normal plug a dumb USB device in and it'll give you half an amp at 5 volts. Alrighty. The trouble is nothing is warm still. It's cooled down now. So let's see if I knocked off anything. Because there was heat and brushing. Oops. Can't say I can blame anything there. We did get the ISL washed. That can cause it to drop back down to 5 volts. Hey, S, take a look at that big cap amongst it all. Oh, that's not a cap, that's a coil. You're talking about the brownie sort of thing with the bulbous silver cap ends on it? That's the coil for the 3.3 volt generation. The one that comes up high. Oh, are you talking about this thing? Hey, Jürgen? Okay, our protocol's changed again. We're now on a 1.5 amp protocol, so something really wacky is going on here. Which two pads we're talking about? Those two there, it does look like that's factory, and yes, it does look like that's meant to be. Yeah, that's factory, whatever that is. Yep. Alright, so where the hell did our 3v3 go though? Nothing. 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 So we're not getting anything coming through there. Hmm. Yeah, ghost in the bloody machine. I mean, yes, ghost in the machine. Well, I can put another ISL down. I don't think it's going to change anything, but I can put another one in since it did change after I warmed it up again. This is my previous one. Hey Travis, she could do with a nicer house. We certainly have a lot of work we'd love to be doing on the house, or rather I should say we have a lot of work we would like to pay somebody else to do on the house. I think half the problem we've got at the moment is that we're both rather exhausted. Because in many ways we kind of had to do 2 shifts. We had to get people out and then we had to start, you know, moving in ourselves, and it's been a bit taxing. It's been a long process, and we're just stuffed. And in the meantime, we're also trying to look after all the wildlings, and that in itself has its own complications, so we're kind of stuffed from that too. Good time to measure resistances that go into those pads. Travis just had to drop 10,000 for a heat pump for the house. Yeah. Yeah, that's pain. Okay, 70, 90. I think these are both 100Kers up the top. Bang on. That must be a 1K. Which one? Here's the cat. Wait. That. Okay, no, I think there's a mistake on the schematic with this one. Maybe we can start with the bedroom overhaul. I think the living area is the real problem that we've got. The bedroom we're kind of, you know, fine, but the living area is the real problem. Oh, and a happy birthday to Catherine. Sorry about that. Didn't see that. Tony, it's just when I started using the job management system. Yeah, so I have here, this is a 1K resistor, and this is a 100K resistor, but according to the schematic, they're supposed to both be 100K, but they're not. So like this here, 7090, 100K, but on here it's 1K. But I believe that the value is probably correct, and it's not really a problematic type thing. If this here is 1K or 100K, it really doesn't matter, because it's just simply, it's like a buffer, a slight sort of fuse just to prevent excessive current going between the two chips. Hey, Electro Rep, welcome. So I don't believe that is at fault, in all honesty. I'm just going to check these current sense ones. 1 ohm seems about right. Three ohm, I do believe that is actually correct. 1 ohm, I know they're both supposed to be ones, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, there we go. The probes are about 0.5 an ohm. Yeah, so that's fine. Loop resistance, that's fine. Hey, Ted Berry. Yeah, busy. Getting nowhere. 47. All right. Yeah, I'll be 48 in June. So not looking forward to that. Another 3, so that's fine. That's a 0 ohm jumper. And that's a 0 ohm jumper. Oh, Boris, well, welcome. $70-75 sometimes drifts out with some setups. It's supposed to be a 4.7, I'm reading 5. I'm gonna say that's okay. These ones over here are a bit more tricky. Okay, that's fine. Is it already troll time? It's a little bit early, about 15 minutes early for troll time. I'm just going to use the hot air and just shift a couple of things around. Just, tap and test. if they eventually heat up enough. Right, that's got to be... They're still running on lead-free solder there. You know, I really don't know why the trolls come here, Braham. I guess they just go everywhere. It doesn't matter to them where they go. Their main purpose, is to do what they do. Most of the times to try and spread gaming channel links, or people just trying to get you to go to their channels. Where are my MacBook parts? MacBook parts. Where I have a few precious ISL chips. Okay, I got my reclaims. I should have some fresh ones. Do not want to use my 9240. Wouldn't work on this anyway. It does remind me, I'm waiting on delivery of my replacement CD3215 COOs after I squawked at the AliExpress supplier. I'm fairly sure what they sent me were the BO3s that have been rebadged as COOs. Just got to keep in mind that I've got to check the post each day for them. Oh, that is disgusting. Yep. This is brand new, folks. Fresh from the factory. Yeah, check out how bad that looks. That is really filthy. There's even a bit of hair left over there. New, my friends, new. My gosh. Pretty sure most people could do a better job on that one. Oh, and it's got a nice chip out of it too, mongrels. I really hate that. Okay, if I get my finger out of the way. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem, Joey, saying got to spend money to get the right stuff. I wouldn't have a problem, except for the fact that even when you do spend money at more reputable stores, you still get this stuff. And that's the problem. There's you never really know. About the only thing spending more money gives you is the opportunity to know that you're dealing with. That took a while to switch over. You're dealing with someone that might respond when you send them a message saying, "Hey, look, these chips you sent, they aren't what they should be." That's when your money comes into play, and that's when maybe you might get them say, "We're sorry, we'll send you some more," as opposed to, "We never sold anything like that. We don't know who you are. Goodbye. Oh, we've shut down. Shame." Yep, it's not the ISL. We're still at the same, so it's not the ISL. So it kind of pushes me back to the CD3215s again. So I think I'll heat up the flux, scrub it down, wash it, see what happens. Maybe something will come loose again. Just got to be careful not to heat it up while those things are bolted in the USB-C connectors, because occasionally they will come undone, which is truly hilarious. On the upside, I know how to put them back together now. Exactly, Auto. Exactly. If there's $1 to be made somewhere, someone's going to try their best to make it in a way that isn't always honest. It's just the way it is. You're kidding yourself if you think that there's people are always going to be honest. And the worst thing is, even when you do find a good supplier, so many times, once they sort of know that you just spend and spend, at some point they're going to slip you a nice fat bunch of fakes. It's inevitable. I still have a big roll of buzzers, surface mount buzzers, because I sampled the ones that I thought were going to be okay, and they were made by LG, I think it was, or was it some other company? Can't remember. Anyway, it was a good, reputable company, the brand. And the buzzers did a great job. I was very happy with them. So I said, fine. I said, I'll buy a whole spool of them, a whole reel. And I think it was like 1,000 on a reel. Needs to say, the outer layer of the reel was the good ones. And then after I'd gotten past that outer layer, what do you know? They're just some cheap, junky alternatives. And I got lucky on that one, to be honest. I confronted them with it, and they said, "Oh, sorry, accident must have been." I was like, "Not likely, but all right." So they did refund some of the cost. I believe it was a surplus site, funnily enough. The other problem you can encounter is when the person you're dealing with doesn't actually know what they're handling. So as far as they're concerned, they just know they got this price, it costs this, this product, it costs this much. They don't know anything more than that. And so when you start giving them technical details and saying, well, the lettering on this is wrong or whatever, they're like, well, we didn't know, so we were just selling what we were told to sell at a price. Ooh, I'm getting a headache from that. I don't think it was LG, it was some watch company. I can't remember. Anyway, it was a reputable company. And the products that were on the reel from that company, as per my original purchase, did work well. The other ones did not. Alright, I'm getting a little bit ticky-tocky off at this. What the heck changed? I mean, I'm glad that something changed, but I'm also not glad. No, not Rolex, not Casio. That CD3215's got a few chunks out of it. No. I'm not worried about the number already. I've got the whole job is in a special sticking box anyway, so it's okay. The number was just the board number anyway. Took Q3100 off, back on, and it's fun. No, not the Swatch. God, I haven't heard a Swatch in a while. No, I think it might have been Olympus or something. I'm sure it will come to me well after I finish the stream. Well, it looks like we're going to have to go back to fundamentals here and start back from scratch and check the CD3215 behaviors and work our way back up. But that is rather peculiar that we just suddenly lost the 20 volts again. At least we know it's not the ISL, which means the two other ones that I have, that cap is slightly bulgy, but it's not shorted. It's just an upset cap. These caps love to bulge. They won't go short on you, but they will bulge and probably have diminished performance. But they won't actually die as in a short form. Anyway. Alright, let's go back to fundamentals here. I think because the CDs have already been replaced. So what you're looking at are prior CDs. Okay, U3100, let's go to the quad view. U3100. We've got come on. Come on. Okay, so what am I doing? Checking the voltage on the fuse. I'm not sure if I've got the right port selected here. Okay, so we've got 514. It's good. Check 3. Alright, well straight away we've got an issue there.